Well, hi, everybody. This is Peter Gordon from New York Financial Organizers with another interview of a very capable and professional worker within the geriatric care services industries. And today I am talking with Suzanne Paolucci. She's a licensed clinical social worker and patient advocate with a few decades of experience. I met Suzanne early on in my career as a daily money manager, and really appreciated her honesty and her availability to offer support and help, whether or not it's with a client or just to help me with my clients. So, how are you doing today, Suzanne?
I'm doing good. It's different times, different way of doing work and helping people. A lot of Zooming with assessments and other healthcare professionals. But happy to say that it really hasn't missed a beat. That I think we're able to be quite as effective, even though we're doing it remotely now.
That's great, and especially since you have such an important service. Let me ask you, what is the first thing a family should do when dealing uh, with a parent's decline in health?
Right. So a lot of my focus is patient advocacy, client advocacy. So I always start any kind of assessment or any kind of introduction with the family, usually in crisis. Don't really get to have an opportunity to start from preventative level. So I always like to say what I think families should really try to do is have conversations. Check in, even if you're doing it remotely now, because we are doing quarantining at this point and self-isolation. Don't let that isolate you from your loved ones, because what may end up happening is decline could be occurring, and without those check-ins, you may see different behaviors, or you may see decline in functioning that could lead to a crisis situation where you end up having to call someone like me, an advocate, to help you navigate this. We often, on better times, we used to see this happening more with at Christmas time or Thanksgiving or Passover. Any of the holidays would usually be a wake-up call for families that something may be declining or something is amiss. But really, I mean, truly, I think having a conversation at least once a week and knowing your loved one's baseline. And what I mean by baseline is, what is their current level of functioning, and keep track of that baseline. So if you start to notice memory impairments, someone doesn't recognize what year it is or what season it is, or they're losing a lot of weight, or the mail is piling up. These are some kind of like little red flags that could be, indicators that something is amiss, and, a little bit more attention needs to be paid. Otherwise, it could end up being a full-blown crisis. And, Monday mornings are really busy for me. Friday afternoons tend to be busy because oftentimes a crisis is occurring, and falls, hospitalization, so forth. So have a conversation, know your loved one's baseline.
That's great. Um, as an advocate, what do you find that it's important for the families you deal with to know?
Yeah, well, the big thing, and if I had $1 for every time I said this, I'd be retiring now. People don't know what they don't know. And that's just a simple fact. We're not supposed to know this. There is no handbook. There is no guidelines. And people don't know what resources are out there. People don't know how to navigate a system. So we don't know what we don't know. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's taken me a long time to know what I know. And I learn something new every day. But the reality is we don't know what we don't know. And because we don't know what we don't know, it really is important to surround yourselves amongst professionals. And I always say, there are so many amazing professionals out there in the senior professional field, and it kind of doesn't matter what point you enter it. I know that person will bring you to the right person and get you on your way. And a lot of my referrals come from senior professionals like you, because I am that advocate, and I provide referrals to someone like you, Peter, because you are my team for certain things that, you know, with money management and so forth. So it's just really important to align yourself and make a point of entry. Oftentimes I'll say, start with your local senior center. There's usually a social worker at the senior center who is well versed in local resources, or call the Department of Aging. There's the elder care locator that you can Google elder care locator, and you go on the computer and plug in your zip code, and it'll bring you up to a bunch of resources. But it is very important to combat that not knowing what you don't know with professionals. And a side note, not all systems are patient-centered, and not all, and this is why advocacy is so important, not all systems, I always say people sometimes get pushed through systems, and having a good team that is with you along the way really makes a difference. You know, as an example, I had just recently, I had a former client, help them get 24-hour Medicaid. Mom got COVID and was having a hard time with the managed care organization setting up home care. And they actually were saying, we don't really help with this. You need a hospital bed. We don't really do this. And I said, let's have a joint call together. We got the hospital bed. We got a mattress. Sometimes people are busy. Sometimes I know a lot of my professional friends and colleagues are overwhelmed and so forth. Just sometimes, you know, especially in the managed care world, which I live in right now, it's really not patient-centered. And do get pushed through, unfortunately, you know, doors and told no when it's really yes, and denial of services when it really should be services. And it's no surprise that in the past year, I've done over 60 appeals. And I always say it's not because I'm an amazing advocate that I won every 60 appeals. It's because it's in the client's favor. It's just we're dealing with a system that is not patient-friendly or client-friendly or patient-centered. And that's really a shame. It's really a shame.
I couldn't agree more about the you don't know what you don't know. And I do other videos where I talk about different topics. And the latest one is multiple videos, and I call it a spoke in the wheel, where I'm a spoke in the wheel, you know, and you're another
as well as I am. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the estate and trust attorney is a spoke. And I love what you just said about it doesn't matter where you enter. And I know for myself personally, the way I got involved in this field was I entered through a care manager when my father was ill, and we didn't know anything, we being my family, and that she changed our lives. It turned out she changed my life too, because I transitioned into the world of elder care.
Yeah. I mean, it is so really important to have to be able to access, like, get a point of entry, and through there, like I said, there's so many I have so many wonderful colleagues. You know, I couldn't do this without you, and I couldn't do this without, you know, all the other senior professionals that I've come to rely on and know. You know, we're only as good as a team we build, and that goes true for the caregiver family member as well. You've got to build a team. You have to build a team, you know.
One more question. So as an advocate, what do you feel is the most important thing you need to be successful as an advocate?
Yeah, you have to be determined. You have to be determined and not take no for an answer. I really, truly believe that. And you have to build a team of professionals. That is key. But not take no for an answer. And that goes whether I'm advocating for a family member of mine or for a patient. You know, I don't know if you know, but my whole family had COVID, yes. And my husband nearly lost his life. And he went to the, you know, I called 911, he got into the ambulance, and I was like, okay, I think my job is done. He's going to be in expert hands, only to get him back 2 hours later. Because he had oxygen stabilized and was able to come back home, which terrified me. And, you know, watching his oxygen the entire night, I said, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. And I actually ended up Facebooking all my colleagues and just sharing my story. And then by the morning, I call one of my social work colleagues. I call her my oxygen angel. She helped me within 20 minutes get a O2 compressor for the home. I was literally driving in the car, talking to the guy. It was out in Coram, 45 minutes away from me, but I didn't take no for an answer. I did not take no for an answer. I called my doctor and I said, listen, you are writing a script for oxygen. I'm getting in the car. I'm going to pick it up. And it literally, the oxygen, I truly believe, saved his life. At that point, it was such a humiliating experience. I don't think he would have went back to the hospital. Honestly, don't think he wanted to go back. He didn't want to go back to the hospital.
Right. And that's it's a great point. And not everybody is able to say, take no, say, I won't take no for an answer, and that's, again, why it's important to have a team of professionals, because many of us professionals
and here's the thing,
not take no.
Here's the thing, if you can't be that person, because that's not in you, it's taken me years to get to be this person that doesn't take no. But I'm not really that pushy, I'm kind of laid back, and it's just my professional hat is a little bit different than my personal hat. But if you can't be that person, find somebody who can be. I always say, like, you have to be able, like, suppose you're laying flat in a hospital bed and a doctor walks in the room and comes near you without washing his hands. Would you be able to say, doctor, don't touch me until you wash your hands? And if you don't feel you could do that because it's your personality and you're soft-spoken, you're shy or whatever, have somebody who can say, hey, doctor, before you touch my loved one, can you please wash your hands? This is a very simple, like, defining moment, like, and I always, like, I'm going to be the one to say, you need to wash your hands. Right. And I was the one to say, we need to get oxygen. I was, my clients, I don't take no. I learned the laws. I learned what people are entitled to. And, we exhaust all avenues until we get what we need. And that's just been the way it goes, But I couldn't do this without professionals, without a team, It's not a one-man show.
Definitely.
Clearly.
Well, thank you very much. That was great, chock full of information, like I knew it would be. And, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, let us know now what it'll be, and it also will be at the end of the video. So tell us the best way to contact.
So a great way to learn about me is my website. It's nycareconsultants.com. That you could get my phone number there. You can learn about my bio a little bit. And it's just a good point of entry. My email is Suzanne at NYCareConsultants. And you could always call Peter and have him reach out to me if you want.
Absolutely. I do often.
I mean, it's not hard to track me down, but I think just a good way to learn about. It's always important to learn about who you're working with. I find that, and that the purpose of my website, was just as a landing spot for people to learn about me. I don't advertise. I haven't put my name out there. I just I prefer working with people who come from other professionals and so forth, or who learn about me on the website and so forth. A lot of what I do though is a lot of the attorneys refer to me for the Medicaid advocacy. That's where I spend most of my time. I do some nursing home advocacy as well, but the Medicaid advocacy is really where I've become an expert in New York State, and that's where I'm sought after these days, because it's a tough battlefield there.
Yeah, getting tougher. Okay, well, thanks again.
Thank you, Peter, so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.